Namaste. Welcome to Group 1 Services Aspirants. TSAT is transmitting the guidance classes on Group 1 services in all contexts of the syllabi of the Group 1 services. As you know it, in the preliminary examination, we have 13 areas. Among 13 areas, one of it is data analysis. So, in this, we are going to learn about data interpretation, about charts. There are so many charts, means line charts, bar graphs, pie diagrams, tables, table charts, frequency curves, frequency polygons, cumulative frequency curves, ogive curves, like so many pictorial representations are there. By reading the diagram, we have to answer. So, before going to know all these things, we will discuss what is data. Data is, in simple language, is a name given to basic facts like names and numbers. Time, date, weights, price, all are some simple examples of data. So, there are two kinds of data as you know it. One is called raw data, another one is grouped data. Raw data, if there is nothing arranged either in ascending order, descending order, not a tabulation, anything not happen, just we collected the data after the information, that will be called as a raw data. When you make it into a frequency table or make it into graph, make it into chart, that is called as a grouped data. Okay. So, handling data interpretation questions is not so difficult. However, it is a very important also, and it should be clear about the basics. If you know the basics properly, then the data analysis is a very simple concept. Data interpretation is one of the important aspects of almost in every competitive examination. So, now even in our examination system, recently even our secondary level school education system also, we are giving the questions on this data analysis even for social studies also. Data analysis is a compulsory question in their examination in social studies of a school education system. Of course, if it is a mathematics subject, there is a concept called as statistics, it comes under the data interpretation. So, all the aspirants you have to know this data interpretation perfectly, then it is very easy to score the maximum marks from this context. Okay. So, what is the methods of presenting numerical data? There are four principal methods of statistical data presentation are, one is tables. Tables may be called as a frequency tables. A second one is called bar graphs. Third one is called pie charts, or of course, we call it as a circle graphs. The fourth one is line graphs. So, here tables, when you consider this tables, if you take it as tables, yeah, this one. When you consider the tables, we have using tally marks, we call it as tally marks. Okay. So, tally marks here. So, simply we will call it as 1, 2, 3, 4, fifth one we will write as like, this is called 5. Means here, so just when you collect the raw data, so we will make it as a tabular form. In the table we have that, simply we have the as a serial number, correct. The next one is tally marks, the next one is frequency, clear. So, like we have the tables here. So, that is the tables will be given, and the next one is bar graphs. So, here the very important thing I will discuss what is a bar graph and here. Simply the bar graph, the class size will be considered as the width of the rectangle and the frequency will be considered as the length of the rectangle. This is a very important information about the bar graphs. The width of the rectangle will give the size of the class and the length of the rectangle will be given the frequency of the data, that class. So, this is very important. In bar graphs, we have rectangles. Okay. Now coming to the next one, pie charts. So when you come into this pie charts, so the circle is divided into some sectors. So the data is represented in terms of sectors. That representation we call it as a pie chart. And the next one is called as line graphs. So here line graphs means here is maybe frequency curve, frequency polygon, or cumulative frequency curve, or Ворожий curves. Ворожий curves means less than cumulative frequency curves and greater than cumulative frequency curves. So we will discuss all these four in a detailed manner. Okay. Now we will see the tables here. Here one tabulation is given here. The tabulation is a common method in data interpretation. Table is an arrangement of data in rows and columns. It provides an overall view of the situation and help in the process of decision making. Sometimes the column in a table are subdivided to give further information also. Generally, it is easier to process the data in a table having more number of rows than columns. So, like we will here just we will see one information here subjects. In the first term how many marks a student is secured, in second term how many marks is secured, and third term in how many marks is secured. So, here there is an improvement in the subject chemistry from first term to third term. A consistent improvement is there. When you come into this physics also 65, 75 and 90. So, here there is an increase of 5, here is increase of 5. So, consistent increasing. Here increase 10, here increase 15, correct. So, it is 75, 80, 90, 85, 80. So, there is a decrease here, but there is an increase. So, like where the consistent increase is occurred in which subject, like the question comes and the chemistry. So, table gives most of the information. A table consists of the class intervals also. The class intervals also will come here. That is the most important. 0 to 10, 10 to 20, 20 to 30, 30 to 40. These class intervals are called class intervals. These are called continuous class intervals. So, the first one 0 to 10 means your lower limit, upper limit, and we call it as lower boundary, upper boundary also. The difference between upper boundary and lower boundary will be called as size of the class. For example, a 10 to 20 is there, is a class. So, what is the size of this class? Means 20 minus 10, which is 10. 10 is the size of the class. Sometimes we call it as the length of the class also. This is a very, very important. And the mid value, sometimes they may ask the mid value also. What the mid value of the class? 10, 20 is given. So, simply we can say 10 plus 20 by 2, that is 30 by 2, 15. 15 is the mid value of the class 10 to 20. 0 to 10, 10 to 20, 20 to 30, these are called continuous class intervals. Here upper limit of the first class is equal to lower limit of the next class. Such classes are called as a continuous classes. We call it as inclusive classes also. This is very, very important. In the data we are using one more word called range. Range means here the difference between highest value minus lowest value, minimum value, maximum minus minimum, simply you can say it. Okay. So, for example, in the data 5 is the minimum value, 95 is the maximum value. So, the range is 95 minus 5 is 90. So, 90 is the range of the data. So, that is very, very important. Clear? The range. Range means highest value minus lowest value, maximum value minus minimum value. The difference between highest and lowest is called the range. Okay, now we are going to the next kind, is a bar diagram. A bar diagram is essentially a graph converted into presented in the form of rectangular blocks. This is very important. Of course, those rectangular blocks are called as bars. That is the reason we call this diagram as a bar graph. These rectangular blocks have common width and hence are proportional in value as per their lengths. So, here I said very important, these bar diagrams have rectangular blocks and the width of the rectangular block is constant, it is size of the class. Clear? That is very important. And the length of the rectangular block is proportional to the frequency. Clear? It may not present information as preciously as table, but gives a quick overall impression of the findings. Like if you consider the previous one, that is a table, frequency table gives the total information in very clear. But for bar graph, when you compare with the frequency table, it may not give accurate information when you compare it, but it also gives the information. It is easy to represent the information in a pictorial way. That is the importance of the bar graphs. Okay. So, there are different types of bar diagrams are there here. So, now if you consider that, see bar graph means when you consider this is for example, this is 1x and this is 1x, means the horizontal line called x axis and vertical line called as y axis. So, when you consider this, so here, so this is one, this is another, correct, this one more, like when you consider this bar, this rectangular lines fields, clear, this is a bar diagram. So, when you observe it, this one, the widths are same, this width will be class size of the class. Okay. And here very important here, the length of this rectangle is proportional to the frequency. Clear? So, they may ask in this one. So, there are a vertical bar diagram. Just now what I drawn, it is a vertical bar diagram. There may be horizontal bar diagram, multiple bar diagram, subdivided bar diagram and deviation bar diagram also. These are the 5 kinds of bar diagrams: vertical bar diagram, horizontal, multiple, subdivided and deviation bar diagram. We will discuss all this and the questions also based on it. Okay. Now, see it. So, I have shown one bar diagram here. It is a multiple bar diagram here. So, multiple bar, why I said multiple bar diagrams here? So, just a comparison about men and women. So, here the first one is given men, men is given as this one, correct. So, with white color, which are 21 years and above, those are called men, and women are shaded, which are 18 years and above, these two will consider. Average daily earnings are given and year, in which year? In 2000 year, the average earning of men is 35 rupees 80 paisa. For women, it is 18.30, 18 rupees 30 paisa in 2000 year. So, in 2001, it is increased as 40 rupees 90 paisa for men and 21 rupees 10 paisa is for women. So, here approximately 3 more rupees, around 3 rupees are increased here, here also around 5 rupees are increased. When you come into this one here, it is 48 rupees 60 paisa in 2002, in 2003 it is 59 rupees 50 paisa and in 2004 66 rupees 90 paisa. So, but the difference between 2000 and 2004 is in 5 years, in 5 years. So, there is an increasement nearly double to it, means 66.90 minus 35.80 means here 31 rupee 10 paise increase or like. So, when you compare with the women, that is 18 rupees 30 paise, it is 40 rupees 60 paise, means around 22 rupees 30 paise is increasing. So, that is average daily earnings is given. Okay, like, so we can ask so many questions here. So, in which year there is a less margin, less difference between man and woman? Here 66 rupees 90 paise, 40 means around 40 means here 26 rupees here. Here how much it is? It is around 25 rupees. Here around 21 rupee and here 19 rupee. So, here 17 rupees, means here the difference is also increase as the year increase. Like so many questions will comes in this examination, we will discuss all those things. This is a multiple bar chart diagram. Here the rectangles are here very clear. This rectangle length represents the size of the class, and of course width represents size of the class, and the length represents the frequency of the class. That is the most important. Okay. Now we will see the next one, pie charts. So the pie charts is a distribution of students at graduate and postgraduate level in 7 institutions: M, N, P, Q, R, S and T. There are 7 institutions are here. So in these 7 institutions, the students and graduate level and postgraduate level, how they are distributed, like the information is represented in a circle by showing sectors. So the total number of students of graduate level is 27,300 and total number of students in postgraduate level is 24,700. So now when you consider this simply, so when you consider this one, this is called sector angle. So this is a sector, So in the college, of course, in the institution N, there is 12%. In the graduate level means 12%. So which college has a maximum number of admissions of postgraduate level, means here see it is 12 and this is also 12 same, this is 17, 13, 18, 14, 15. So the institution R has maximum number of admissions of the graduate level, 18%. Okay. And here when you come into the post graduation level, so the highest means 21%. S has maximum number of post graduation level admissions here, 21%. So this is called sector angle. As a sector angle increases, mean the number of admissions also increases. So we will take it as 12% is how much admissions, means here if you consider how many students are admitted in the level, for example in the P for example. So simply you have to calculate this one as, you can calculate 24, when you calculate it is, when you consider this is 24,700 correct, into how much, 12%, that is 12%, means 24,700 into 12 by 100, like calculate 100 get cancelled, simply 247 of 12 means 12 7s are 84, 12 4s are 48 plus 8 36, 3, 12 2s are 24 plus 3 27, means 2764, means 2764 students admitted in institution P, like you can calculate, means how many students are got admission in the institution P, you can calculate. So in which institution postgraduate students are joined more, means S in the institution S, like you can say the answer, clear? So like questions will come, I will explain it later. So this is one of the most commonly used method to pictorial data interpretation. Pie charts show the relationship of parts to the whole. The central angle of circle is, as you know it is 360 degrees. The proportion that each part of bears the whole will be corresponding proportion of 360 degrees, which is required to be calculated. The pie charts are useful for representing. The first one is percentage of various elements with respect to the total quantity. The proportion of various elements with respect to the total quantity shares the various parties of particular quantity. The pi 100% means 360 degrees and 1 degree means 1% is 3.6 degrees and 1 degree means 1 by 3.6%. You have to know all this statistical data. Now coming to the next one, line graphs. It is a linear representation of the figures put on a two-dimensional scale and show a relationship between the figures on the two axes, that is x and y, and it is one of the simplest and easiest way of showing data interpretation. It is drawn on graph paper to certain scale. Each reading is plotted on the graph and points are joined with a ruled lines. So, when you join with the line segments, it is called a frequency polygon. When you join with a simple free-handed smooth curve, we call it a frequency curve. You have to remember this is there is two kinds of things here. One is called frequency curve, another one is called frequency polygon. When the frequency polygon will form means when you join the points with the simple with line segments, then we call it as a frequency polygon. When you join the points with a simple free-handed smooth curve, we call it as a frequency curve. We have to remember all these things here. Okay, what are the different types of line graphs? What are the different types of line graphs? So, there are one dependent variable, more than one dependent variable, graph having two scales, that is x axis, y axis, frequency polygon, just now I said frequency polygon, cumulative frequency polygon and greater than cumulative frequency distribution. Greater than cumulative frequency, less than cumulative frequency, frequency polygon, frequency curve, graph having two scales, more than one dependent variable, all these are different types of line graphs. Okay. Now, observe it. So, here there is a maximum total marks in the each periodical examination, 500 marks examination it is given 500. So, in the April 1st, so we got 360 marks around, and in June 1st is approximately it is 365, in August 1st it is 370, in October 1st it is around 385, in December 1st it is 400, and in February 2nd, of course 2nd February means 2002, February 2002, it is 405. So, means you join this point to this point with a line segment, this point to this point a line segment, this point to this point a line segment, this point to this. So, this is simply we call it as a frequency polygon. So, when you join this point, see this, with a simple free-handed smooth curve like simple free-handed smooth curve, this is called frequency curve. So, when you join with the line segments, it is called frequency polygon. That is the difference between frequency polygon and frequency curve. Okay. So, here we will discuss some of the questions based on this these things, we will discuss it here. The bar graph shows the frequency 𝗂𝗖𝗄 in the piece of English writing. So, here the bar graph is given. So, here the frequency on y axis, okay, and the letters on x axis, frequency on y axis, letters on x axis. Now, see this, here is given how many letters are here, the bar graph shows frequency 𝗂𝗖𝗄. So, here the letters are given A, E, I, O and U here. So, it is lies between 70 to 80, E is lies between 50 to 60 and I is lies between 40 to 50 and O is lies between of course, so it is mostly equal to 50 and U approximately it is also equal to 30. Okay. So, now some questions they are asked in this area. So, very important thing here. Now, see that. Which letter has occurred the maximum number of times? First question. Which letter has occurred less than 30 times? Second. Write down the 5 letters in the descending order of frequency. These are the things here. Okay. Now we will see the question once again. What the question here? A will be how much? Around more than 70. So if you take it as A is more than 70, correct? Okay, yeah. And so when you consider next E, if you consider E is around 50. E is 50, correct? Okay, E is 50. And okay, I around is 40, around 40. Okay, so like if you take it as what the question is given here, the question is given which letter occurred the maximum number of times, which letter? So very clear. So which has the maximum here? Observe it. Which has the maximum? A has more than 70, correct? And remaining are, so A will occurs maximum number of times. Okay. Now come to the next one. Which letter has occurred less than 30 times? Now see it. Less than 30 times. It's very clear. A, E, I, O. Among it, which is a smaller one? Which is a smaller one? U is a smaller one. So U comes less than 30 times. Okay. Next, 5 letters in the decreasing order of frequency. 5 letters. Okay, now we'll see. First one is A, correct? First one we will consider it as A, correct? And the next is what is the next one? E. Next one is E. Next comes as O. Next comes as I. And the next comes U, correct? So AEOIU is the according to their frequency. So in descending order. Okay. So AEOIU. So like in the examination, they may ask the question. This is a very, very important. Okay. So the most important thing in this is they will use 3 central tendencies also. They will use the 3 central tendencies. That is, the first one is they will ask the mean, median and mode. What is the mean of the data, median of the data, mode of the data? So mean means simply we call it as average of the data. Average means sum of the quantities by the number of quantities. Median means, what is the median here? Median means the value which comes as the middlemost when you arrange the data either in ascending order or descending order. That's a median. Okay. So next one is mode, which occurs, which repeats more number of times in the data is called mode. So these are the 3 central tendencies for the ungrouped data. You have to remember all these things in a very careful manner. It's clear? The first one is mean. Mean means simply we call it as arithmetic mean also. The sum of the quantities and the number of quantities. What the mean of the first 5 natural numbers? Means here simply 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5, which is how much it is? Simply it is 15 by number of quantities 5. 15 by 5, which is 3, correct? Means the mean of the data is equal to 3. So next one is median. Median means you have to arrange the data either in ascending order or descending order. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You are arranging in ascending order. So what is the middlemost value? 3. So the median of this data is 3. The last one is mode, which occurs, which repeats, which comes more number of times is called mode. Sometimes mode may be exist and may not be exist. Sometimes bimodal is there, maybe 2 values at the time you will take the average of those two values, that is called clear. Okay. So, you have a doubt maybe. For example, there is a 10 quantities there, 10 quantities there. What is the median for the data? Means here you have to take the average of 5th and 6th. 5th and 6th average will be considered as the median of the data. That is, and very important thing is mode is equal to 3 median minus 2 mean. 3 median into 2 minus 2 mean. This is the most important relation between mean, median and mode. So, like you have to know that in this context you have to learn the range means the maximum frequency means minimum frequency, and size of the class means here upper limit and lower limit differences, and the mid value is sum of mid value means lower limit plus upper limit by 2. These are the things here, and continuous classes mean, median and mode. So, we will discuss the remaining part of the next sessions.